Good morning, viewers at home or wherever you might be. The biology. We're having biology now, and the topic I bring to you is reproductive system in vertebrates, part one. In this topic of reproductive system in vertebrates, we are going to talk about different kinds of reproductive system in different vertebrates such as humans, fishes, reptiles, amphibians, and birds. It's going to be part by part, and I want you to know that this topic is going to take the major part of these terms work because it's subdivided into different parts. Talking about these parts, what I want my students to know at the end of the class is the learner or the student should be able to define reproduction. That is, you should know what reproduction is. You should differentiate between the two types of reproduction, the sexual and the asexual reproduction. State the roles of gonads and gametes in reproduction. Describe the human male reproductive system with a well-labeled diagram. This is what I want you to learn under these parts. Talking about the human reproductive system, we have the male and the female. But for this part, we are not going to dive into the female. We're going to talk about the male. Now, let's start with reproduction in vertebrates. Definition of reproduction. Reproduction is defined as the ability of living organisms to give rise to new individuals of the same species. In other words, a goat cannot give birth to a rat, neither can a rat give birth to a monkey. It means individual products of reproduction must be organisms of the same species as the parent organism. They must look exactly like the parent. The essence of reproduction is for the continuity of life. That is one beautiful essence of reproduction. Like you can see in this diagram I have here, the toad with the young ones, which are the tadpoles, and I have the female fowl, that's the hen, with her chicks to ensure continuity of life, so that peradventure if the male leaves if the parents leave, the young ones can actually take over and continue reproducing, and so they're able to pass their traits and live long for generation to generation. Reproduction also helps to prevent extinction of organisms. Let's talk about types of reproduction. We have two main types of reproduction. We have the asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is a kind of reproduction in which new organisms are produced from a single gamete. Organisms are produced from one gamete. As time goes on, I'm going to explain what gamete is. But just know that asexual reproduction, organisms are produced from a single gamete. In SS1, you did vegetative propagation, asexual reproduction in plants and other invertebrates. And different types of asexual reproduction include binary fission, grafting, budding, and so on and so forth. In this kind of reproduction, mitosis come into play, most especially in asexual reproduction. The second one is sexual reproduction. This is the type of reproduction which involves the fusion of the male gametes and the female gametes to form a zygote. Now look at this diagram here. Just concentrate on the picture I have here. Sperm cell. Sperm cell is the male gamete. The egg cell, the sperm cell, as I touch it, is the male gamete. The egg cell, as it is here, is the female gamete. These two gametes are obviously from two different parents. Are from what? Two different parents. When these two gametes come together, fertilization occurs. And when fertilization occurs, this is the zygote formed. Fertilized egg with DNA from both parents, as the illustration shows. This is the zygote formed. Then the zygote then forms embryo cells with copied of inherited DNA, in the sense that the zygote takes some inherited characteristics from the sperm. Likewise, it also takes inherited characteristics from the eggs too. So both the sperm and the egg contribute to the formation of the zygote. Then we now have this same zygote that form embryo cells with copies of inherited characters, which are made up in the DNA. Remember, the DNA is the deoxyribonucleic acid. Then with time, as human concern, the female carries the fetus in her womb. Then, after 9 months, offspring with traits inherited from both parents is then produced. Oh, look at this lovely cute baby here. Offspring inherited from both parents are produced. This is the summary of what sexual reproduction is about. I use man as an example for you to easily understand it. Similarly, this is how reproduction occurs in other kinds of vertebrates, be it rats, rabbits, dogs, and so on and so forth, be it fish, the amphibian, the lizards, etc. Let's proceed. Reproduction in vertebrates is sexual. Vertebrate reproductive system consists of gonads. Gonads produce gametes and hormones necessary for reproduction. Types of gonads. Number 1, the testes. The testes are found in males. The function of these testes is they produce the sperm cell. This sperm cell is known as spermatozoa. Aside from producing sperm cell, they also produce testosterone hormone. Testosterone is a male hormone in female. It is a male hormone that is produced in the testes. This male hormone is responsible for the development of secondary male characteristics in male during puberty, and is also responsible for the production of sperm. The second gonad I want us to talk about is the ovaries. The ovaries are found in the females. They produce eggs or ova. Another name for eggs is called ova. Please, if you want to say one egg, it should not be ova again. It should be what? Ovum. It means the singular of ova is ovum. Ovum is ovum. The ovaries also produce female sex hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone. Please note your spellings. It's very, very important. In most vertebrates, the reproductive ducts drain into the urine carrying tubules or ducts. In these cases, the excretory and reproductive system are often represented as the urinogenital system. Example is the male reproductive system in humans. So we'll still talk about that. Reproductive system in mammals. The reproductive system in mammals consists of number 1, external genitals. Number 2, internal genitals. The external genitals consist of parts that can be seen easily, while the internal genitals consist of parts that cannot be seen. Now let's pick them one by one. This is what I want to talk about now. Human male reproductive system. The external genitals consist of the 2 scrotal sac and the penis. These are the ones you can see outside. This is the diagram of the male reproductive system. This is the penis, and this is the scrotal sac, like you all know. Looking at this diagram, most things that are labeled are the internal genitals, the ones that are inside. You can't see, you testify that you can't see most of these labeled parts outside. So those ones are internal genital. But the ones that you can see outside, like the penis and this scrotal sac are the external genitals. Yes. The rest are within the body. The one within the body includes number 1, testes. Please note your spellings. Testes are found inside scrotal sacs. The testes are found outside the body cavity to provide cooler environment which supports the production of sperm. Functions of the testes. The first function is they produce sperm or spermatozoa. They also produce the male sex hormone called testosterone, which aid the development of secondary sexual characters in boys. The second one, seminiferous tubules, another labeling. I'm talking about the internal genitals now. Note, I've talked about testes. Seminiferous tubules are tiny coiled tubules that give rise to sperm. They're also found within the testes. Number 3, epididymis. The epididymis is a larger tubule that connects the seminiferous tubule to the sperm duct. The function of the epididymis is that it collects and stores sperm temporarily until they mature. Number 4, sperm duct or vas deferens. It is a narrow tube that leads from the epididymis to the seminal vesicle. Yes, before we proceed with parts of the male reproductive system in humans, I want to just take a look at what I have talked about so far. I've talked about the testes. Like you can see, this testis is found inside the scrotal sac. You can also call it testicles. Then look at the epididymis. Epididymis is a longer coiled tube that is actually longer than the seminiferous tubules. These are parts of what I have mentioned. All what I've talked about so far are still within the testes. Then the fourth one, sperm ducts or vas deferens. It is a narrow tube that leads from the epididymis to the seminal vesicle. The sperm ducts lead from the epididymis to the seminal vesicle. This is the seminal vesicle here. This is the side view of the male reproductive system of human. This is the front view of the human male reproductive system. You might be asked anyone in your examination. It's good for you to master your diagrams very well. Let's talk about functions of the sperm ducts. The sperm duct allows movement of sperm from the testes to outside the body. So the sperm duct takes sperm away from the body, and it also allows maturation of sperm cells. Number 4, seminal vesicle. It produces and secretes seminal fluids. Note that seminal fluid and sperm make up what we know as semen. Most of you must have heard that word before. Semen. Semen consists of the seminal fluid and sperm. I want you to know that the seminal vesicle produce part of the seminal fluid. You have 3 parts in the male reproductive system that aid in the production of the seminal fluid. The first one is the seminal vesicle. Aside from seminal vesicle, the prostate gland and the Cowper's gland also help to produce part of the seminal vesicle. Part of the seminal fluid. The seminal vesicle is that part that secretes seminal fluid which contains fructose. Fructose is a kind of carbohydrate that provides energy for the sperm. Let's look at the function of the seminal vesicle. It secretes part of the seminal fluid. It also stores sperm until they are ejaculated. Prostate gland, note your spelling, prostate gland. The prostate gland secretes the part of the seminal fluid which activates the sperm. Please note the differences between the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and Cowper's gland. Seminal vesicle releases the part of the seminal fluid that provides energy for the sperm, while the prostate gland releases the part of the seminal fluid which activates the sperm. The Cowper's gland secretes part of the seminal fluid which helps to increase the pH of the female reproductive medium. I want you to know now that the female reproductive medium is normally acidic. So the Cowper's gland during sexual intercourse makes the pH of the female reproductive medium, that is the vagina, it makes the place alkaline. When it's alkaline, it allows sperm to flow freely. If such acidic environment, if the vagina still remains acidic, that is in cases whenever the male's Cowper's gland isn't functioning anymore. If the vagina is acidic, it has effects. The effects include killing of sperms before it gets to the uterus or to the fallopian tube. The sperm dies, and this can prevent conceiving, or it can prevent pregnancy. Let's proceed. Such acidic environment can kill the sperm if it is not neutralized with the aid of Cowper's gland. Number 8, urethra. The urethra is a narrow tube which prolongs into the penis. That is, the urethra passes through the penis. The urethra is urinogenital in function. Function of the urethra includes the first one, it aids the passage of sperm into the vagina. The second one, it aids the passage of urine outside the body. Number 9, the penis. The penis is an organ that is used to introduce sperm into the female reproductive organ. The penis contains spongy tissue which can be filled with blood, and it becomes erect whenever it is filled with blood. During sexual intercourse, the penis is stimulated, which eventually leads to ejaculation of sperm. And one main function of the penis is it helps to introduce the sperm into the vagina of the female. Please, classwork. Number 1, label the diagram below. Study this diagram and label it. I want you to know how to label this diagram. Also, when you are free, you should also know how to draw this diagram. Number 2, define gonads and give 2 examples of gonads. Number 3, define gametes and give 2 examples. Number 4, state 2 differences between sexual and asexual reproduction. Assignments: write short notes on sperm production and maturation. Thank you. I've missed you all, and I promise we'll meet again. Thank you.